Hi everyone, today we are looking at the first session of Module 3 for Class 6. The chapter is The Earth, a Living Planet. Chapter 14 of the Karnataka State Syllabus. We start with the opening where we ask the children to make a circle to begin with. Once they are in a circle, when you play music, the child needs to pass a ball to the next player. When the music stops, the ball will come to a specific player. That player will have to go take a question from the bag of questions which will be made by you. The questions will be given to you. You need to cut it and make it. So the question, there are a series of 15 questions which you can ask about Earth. So if you think the children would like to play more, you can repeat the 15 questions again in the given time. Once a child says the answer or doesn't know the answer, you can put this question back into into the bag, or you can encourage the other students to answer for that child. Then again, the child goes back into the circle, the music starts playing and the ball is passed around. With this, the opening is done and the children get to know a few information about Earth. Next, we move on to the main creation. The first part of the main creation is taught. We are looking at what are the essential things you need on Earth to survive. You start by asking each of the class what is the most important thing that Earth needs for human beings to survive. So the children can think of one answer which they need to write on a small post-it like this. Give each of them one post-it and let them write the answer. Once they finish writing the answer, ask the children to share the answer. So when they share the answer, put them up on A4 sheets like this. Whatever answer they share, you will write it. And if you think it is something like fruits will come under the category of food. So you can categorize them as specific things. The 4 words that we are looking for is air, water, food, shelter. If there is anything else that they have written, you can write that in the extra papers also which you can put up. Let them come up with those answers. Unless they come in these 4 categories, don't club them down. Once you have written these answers that the children have shared, tell the children to come and stick their post-its on each of the answers. For example, they can one child wrote water, he came and stuck it here. Another child wrote air, he came and stuck it here. Another child also wrote air, he came and stuck it here. Like that, let them all stick their post-its in the right place as required. All the students should have at least, students should be able to stick the post-its on the 4 to 6 white sheets that you have written the answer on. Once they have all written their answer, stuck their answers on this thing, you count how many each each category has. For example, here air has 2, water has 1, food has none, this sheet has 1, shelter has 1. Share that answer with the children and then tell them that, given of their inferences, tell them that air, water, food and shelter are the most important things that we need on Earth for us to survive. Air, the atmosphere of Earth is consisted mostly of gases. Living beings consume those gases to live, and Earth's gravity binds the gas together. No other planet in the solar system has air or no other planet in the solar system has gases like oxygen and nitrogen, which is very useful for living beings to survive. Water. 70% of Earth's surface is covered with water. Living beings need this water to consume and survive. Food, they can themselves tell the answer that food is very important. Without food, we will not be able to survive. And shelter. Shelter protects animals and human beings from rain or cold or extreme weathers and keeps them safe against other predators. So these are the 4 things that the Earth needs for things on the Earth to survive. After you do this bit, we do the part of the role play. Each child is given a small chit from the chits made, given to you in a handout. Cut it into small pieces and give it to them. Some of the chits will say big birds or small birds, big animals, small animals, human beings, big plants or small plants. Now each of the child has now gotten a role on these things. So they have to act according to the role that they have got, and once you read the story, once you narrate the story, the students need to act accordingly. They can start by making groups of all the small animals can come together, all the big animals can come together, the human beings, the big trees and the big plants can come together. The story is given at the end of the manual. Now for the first story is, read it as animated as possible and encourage the children to do the action for it while you are reading the story. It was a nice and sunny day at the National Forest. Some people had come for a vacation and all the animals, birds and plants were enjoying their company. Then suddenly there was a news on the phone that the earth is getting suffocated with no clean air. So what will happen now? At this point, get the children to give you answers about what is going to happen for the role that they are in. For example, if one child is playing the role of a rabbit, the child needs to think like as a rabbit and say, if there is no air for him to survive, what is going to happen to that rabbit? Once the children have given some of their answers, continue with the story. All the animals started breathing heavily. The others couldn't stop coughing. The big animals and the people started to faint and fall. Soon, all the animals and birds were dying. Even the plants started to droop. And soon, the whole forest was dead. Once you finish the first story, which was about the lack of air and how air is important for the survival of Earth, you go into the next story. Now, before you start the next story, the children need to get up back into their roles as living things, and then you need to start the second story. The second story, the third story and the fourth story is about water, food and shelter. Let them you act it out as you are reading it so that everyone gets a chance to understand how your life will be affected for every being on earth if there is no air or water or food or shelter. Once you finish the role play, we go into the next part of the main creation, which is to understand the uniqueness of earth. First, show them the display sheet of the universe, of the solar system, which shows the 8 planets and the sun. Using that solar system display sheet, ask the children what are the different ways in which the earth is different from the other 7 planets. Then use the display sheet which shows earth and stick it in the middle. As you say the different things that makes earth unique, stick them around the display sheet of earth so that children get a visual representation of what they are learning. Earth is different because it's the only planet in the solar system which has life on earth, which is life. Later, tell them that earth is at a very moderate distance from the sun, and it's not too close to the sun that it's so hot, nor is it too far from the sun that it's too cold. It is at a moderate distance from the earth that it has a temperature control. The temperature on the earth keeps most of the water in liquid state, which is easy for human beings and plants and animals to consume. Also, because the sun's the temperature, there is a control over it, the nutrients and the digestive juice in the blood in the body system of animals and human beings is in the liquid state, and therefore nutrients are passed up and down the system, and animals and human beings can survive from the food that they eat. Also, the living beings need, like we said earlier, they need food to grow. And one of the main things that is important, which is the founding building blocks of food, is carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and nitrogen. Earth is the only planet which has an abundance of these 4 gases, and is also seen in animals and birds and plants. So food which every being on the earth consumes has these 4 gases. Earth also has different weather conditions. There is summer, there is winter, there is autumn, and there is spring. And because of these four weather conditions, our harvest system is also controlled. So we can do the harvesting and the agricultural farming system depending on what the weather is, and that's very important for us to grow different type of plants and make food for us to survive. Also, the earth has protective layers around it unlike any other planet. It has an atmosphere, it has an ozone layer, and it has a magnetosphere. The atmosphere contains all the gases inside in the earth, and also burns any meteors entering due to the friction between the gas and the meteors. The ozone layer is useful because the ozone layer will control all the dangerous ultraviolet rays which can come in through, They protect us by filtering it out. And the magnetosphere repel most of the charged particles. Therefore, Earth is unique compared to the other planets because it can have life and preserve the life that is on Earth. After you finish the discussion with and showing them the 5 display sheets of all the different types of things that makes Earth unique, you go into the next part, which is the closure. For the closure, you introduce the at-home activity sheet to the children. The worksheet has 2 parts to it. The first part of the worksheet is a word search activity about the unique things about the things that is essential for the survival of living things on Earth. The second part of the worksheet has multiple pictures on it, from which they need to choose which are the pictures or which are the things that make Earth unique from the other planets. With this session is done. See you in the next session. Thank you.